What is going on, guys? This is me, Chimpanzee45, and I'm here today with the first episode of a new series called Thursday Thoughts. And this is going to be a series where every Thursday I give you my views and opinions on a topical and a relevant issue that's come up during the past week. It could be gaming related, it could be sports related, but basically the whole idea is to give you my views and opinions and for me to hear your views and opinions. So if you want to leave a comment in the section below, tweet me at Arsenal409 on Twitter or inbox me on YouTube, then that'd be great, because the whole idea of this is to get discussion going about various issues and topics. So today we're going to be talking about the Xbox One and the PS4, both of which have been revealed in more detail to us at E3 over the past few days in LA in America. Now, you've probably seen a load of these videos, but I thought that I should give you my views and opinions just so that you could hear what I think about the respective consoles, which one I'm going to get and which one I think you should get and why. So let's get straight into it. The Xbox One, which is Microsoft's next generation console, will cost you £429 or $500 if you're in the USA. Now, there's a whole load of policies and sort of features about it that have been quite controversial, but it is, firstly, it's quite expensive. That's quite an expensive price, £430. However, with that you do get a Kinect sensor, which is quite a cool feature. Now, one positive straight away, and there are pros and cons for each console, but one positive is the exclusives that you get on Xbox are fantastic, such as Halo, Forza, Quantum Break actually looks really interesting, and the whole idea of that is that you sort of create your own individual story throughout as you go through the game, which looks really cool. Now, there does seem to be a heavy emphasis on the social aspects of the Xbox. During a reveal event a couple of weeks ago at their own HQ, there's a lot of focus on TV and watching TV and calling your friends on Skype and seeing the fancy points that your team's scoring whilst you're watching the American football and all these sorts of things that aren't really gaming related. So it seems to be becoming more of an entertainment system. The interface did look really slick, it looks really smooth, it looks really fast, it looks really cool, but it doesn't seem to be very gaming orientated, and they actually seem to be detracting the gamers away from their console with some of the things that they're introducing, such as this bizarre used game policy. For some reason they've decided to leave it up to the publishers as to whether they're going to charge gamers to play their games on different consoles, if that makes sense. So if I'm going around, like if you want to sell a used game, then there's all sorts of complications that mean you might have to actually pay to be able to play a game on a different console. It's really confusing and it's a really bizarre policy, and quite frankly I don't know why Microsoft have introduced it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with sharing games by just giving it to your friend and letting them play. For some reason they're deciding to charge. We all know that Microsoft are money whores, but I mean, it's just a ridiculous thing to do. I don't know why you need to charge people to play the same game just on a different console. It's not hurting anyone, it's not making any problems. It just seems to be they just seem to be creating problems for themselves. Another thing is this bizarre internet connectivity issue for some reason, and there is a reason to it. My friend was telling me at college today, but quite frankly it was far too tedious to listen to. Basically, once every 24 hours you have to kind of check in to the internet, if you like, and if you don't check into the internet, then after 24 hours your console won't work. Basically, you won't be able to play games on it, which seems incredibly bizarre. My friend was telling me that it's all about constantly updating the system, but to me, I'd rather have an update every week that takes 5 minutes than having to sign in every 24 hours. It's probably not going to affect most of us because, let's be honest, my PS3, it automatically signs in anyway. I'm sure that's the same for many of you Xbox users, but it's still just a strange little feature. And also this mandatory thing with Kinect having to be turned on, it's probably going to be watching you, which is a bit freaky. I'll be honest, it's a bit strange, but hey, that's how it goes. But the exclusives are fantastic, and I'll be honest, the controller does actually look really cool. It's just slightly differently designed with the sort of the colour scheme and aesthetics. It's no different. It's no different to the design of the old controller, but it looks quite cool and sleek in black. They're basically going all for black. The Xbox itself is much more of a box shape now compared to the smooth curves that you found on the old Xbox, so it's quite a cool looking console, but I do think there are more cons, and it's certainly going to detract the gamers and probably attract more of those social people that want to have all these things on one device and just be able to do this and this, which is where the multitasking comes in really helpful. So we're going to go on to the PS4 now. Now, obviously, this is Sony's next generation console and their competition for Xbox and Microsoft. Now, for the first time on the PlayStation, you will have cross-game chat, which is effectively party chat on the Xbox 360, which is a step behind Xbox, and that is the one thing that does sort of separate Xbox and PlayStation, especially when it comes to online, but for the first time you will get that on the PlayStation. A new controller which looks better, with better toggles. It's got a touchpad at the top which looks really interactive, really cool, and it looks good fun. There's absolutely no used games policy, no internet connectivity policy feature thing like you have on the Xbox. Again, the exclusives are quite cool. I was watching some gameplay earlier today about Watch Dogs. That looks like a really interesting game, kind of like a game, like a back alley crime game, which looks pretty awesome. Drive Club looks good as well. Gran Turismo 6 has been confirmed for the PS3, not yet for the PS4, but hopefully they'll bring that out, because if they do, then as with every Gran Turismo, the graphics will be stunning, the attention to detail will be so military precise, and it would just be a fantastic game. Now, the price in comparison to the Xbox, which is $429, is $349, so you're saving £80. Now, with that, you don't get the PlayStation Eye, which is the Kinect equivalent, so that's where the price difference comes in. But let's be honest, I spoke to my friend today about this PlayStation Xbox debate in detail, and I said to him, because he's got the Kinect, and I said to him, do you actually use your Kinect? And he said, no, I'd never use it. Now, maybe that's just because he's lazy, but, you know, I wouldn't use it much if I had it, to be honest, because I play games to sit down, relax, enjoy myself, not get up and be on the move. That's why we have a Wii downstairs, you know. We don't have a PS3 to have the PlayStation Move and sort of play tennis and have fencing tournaments. You know, we don't have that for that purpose. It's for the purpose of playing FIFA and F1 and Call of Duty. So I'm not that fussed that if I do get a PS4, I won't get the PlayStation Eye. Now, the only disadvantage is that you will have to pay for the online now. You'll require a PlayStation Plus membership, which I believe is in the region of £40, so it's going to be about the same as the Xbox Live membership is at the moment, which works out at about £5 a month, which is reasonable. But obviously it's the first time that we've ever had to pay for online, but hopefully, I mean, it's effectively going to be the Xbox Live service that you have now with this cross-game chat. And you know what, 40 quid, if you're paying 350, what's 40 quid? You know, the games are going to cost about £50, they're going to be quite expensive, but this next generation should be really cool. So to conclude, what am I going to get? Because I'm a Sony fanboy, I'm going to get the PS4, but also because I do genuinely think it is the better console out of the two. I don't think you can deny that the PS3 has got certain weaknesses to the Xbox, such as past chat, such as exclusives like Call of Duty and stuff like that are heavily Xbox orientated, and they still will be. But I think that the PS4 will be much more gamer orientated, and that's what I want. I don't want to talk on Skype to my friends. That's why I have my iPod. That's why I have my computer. I don't want to see my fantasy team and see how they're doing against my other friends' fantasy teams. None of my other friends have fantasy teams. Barely any of them watch American football. I don't want to know that. I want to have a smooth operating machine that will play fabulous games in inch perfect graphics, and I'm sure that the Xbox will do that, but they don't seem to pay much attention to that. You know, I want to have indie exclusives, not just the big games. I want to be able to play smaller games, such as Drive Club, which is effectively run by some northern geezers, not these fancy guys that come on and give us extravagant displays. So that's what I'd go for. I'd go for the PS4, and of course it is £80 cheaper, which when you look at it is actually a significant amount of money when you're comparing it to the Xbox, which is £430. You're paying £350, a significantly reduced price, or $100 if you're in the United States. So that is a big difference in price. So I would go for the PS4, but what would you go for? Leave your comments in the section below. I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say. I hope you've enjoyed this first episode of Thursday Thoughts. If you have, then leave it a like. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That would be fantastic. And I will see you on Saturday for the next episode of Buying British. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'm Chimpanzee45. Goodbye.